Welcome, everyone. This is an exciting event that we're doing in a hybrid mode. And what we have here is how our tabletops have evolved through the platform of eSports Cyber. This is the type of thing we would have done before in person. We would have had little handouts and so forth. And so we are going to be showing you, and no one has rehearsed this together, what it's like to live through the first 36 hours of a real outage through a gamified format that is digital and online. I am Marc Dillon, VP of IT of Water North Hydro, and I am going to be the game master, the universe, all the things that keep the story going along. And next to me I have Luc.
Yes, Luc Roy, CIO at Laurentian University.
And Mahdi here, president of CyberX, and in the game I'm also the president, so I get to boss these fine gentlemen around, which is exciting.
Oh yeah, I should mention my role as well. So I'm the CIO, and the way I look at it is that I'm already a CIO. I think the only way is to go down, because I'm already a good CIO. But anyway, we'll see that.
And on the line we have with us Marc and Mayuran. Marc?
So I'm Marc, I'm a VP of Capacity Building at ICTC. No CIO, I'm going to test my CIO chops today.
Hi everyone, my name is Mayuran, and I'm the Chief Information Security Officer at Barrison.
Okay, so what everyone sees right now is what the board looks like. This is a totally customizable environment. We're going to be doing a generic scenario today, which is a outage that has happened, and I'm pretty sure, who here has actually lived through an outage where you've been through the weekend and just, you have to get it done? Everyone here has been through that? We're going to live through it again and see if we can create that same kind of sweat. So, what we have here is our eSports Cyber Tabletop, and in this scenario, you're going to experience the first 12 hours of a major technical issue. This technical issue has happened as a result, potentially, of a cybersecurity event. And the interesting thing is, we are all part of a recently merged company. So you won't necessarily know exactly everything about all the systems. You'll have to figure it out, which makes total sense. And so what we've got going on recently is we have a problem with our phone system. So what's come up is that you've got reports coming in that customers cannot call in at all, and the outbound calls are working inconsistently. The inbound calls are met with dead air. People can't even call you. And there's reports that this has been happening starting in the last 30 to 60 minutes. No one's really sure, but they started to notice reports from customers walking in saying, or customers emailing them saying, I can't get a hold of you over the phone. Seems like there's something wrong. So we're going to start with our president. What would you like to do?
I'm going to take a little nap on the sofa here. So what do we got? What's the situation here? Our phone systems are down?
Yeah, it seems like the phone call center is complaining that they can make outbound calls, sort of. They kind of work, but the inbound calls just dead air. Customers cannot even reach us.
Got it, got it. VP of Ops is around in the office today?
Looks like it, yeah.
VP of Ops, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. I'd like to join you on the sofa, but I don't really have the time for that. So
with no time for sofa, so on the love seat here. Marc, I got a question for you. Our phone systems are down. What's going on?
Yeah, well, let me check with my staff. So and then no, I'd like to pass the ball to someone, but who's there? Like I can call a friend.
That's okay. I'm gonna ask the security tech. It seems like you know that the phone systems are down, but you don't know a little bit too much of what's happening. Security tech, any information on the phone systems being down? Have you seen any anomalies? Anything strange happen in the last couple of hours?
Oh, well, nothing noticed so far, Mr. President, but I can get my SOC team to actually dive into it a little deeper, and I'll get back to you with some information.
Well, that's exactly what I want to do, Game Master. I want to put the security tech on lead on this.
Okay.
Investigate this right away.
All right, so security tech, as often happens, the CIO was completely skipped in the chain of command.
Yeah.
He doesn't maybe not even know this is happening yet, but you've been instructed by your president to go ahead and start investigation on this. Is that what you want to do?
Absolutely.
Okay, so go ahead and give me a roll for that. You need to get at least 10 as a security tech to be successful here in any route.
Okay, let's give this route. So do I just go ahead and roll now?
Over 10.
Okay, looks like you've been keeping your skills sharp. You actually, either you know what you're doing or in the merger it was your phone system. So we see our phone system has appeared. And it looks like it's an on-premise hosted system. And we don't really know much more about it than that. Turns out it's actually not in your documentation. Security Tech, your turn is now over, but congratulations on finding the phone system, where it was racked, and that it does exist. VP of IT, CIO,
Yes.
you're up.
Thanks. So now I'm actually wondering, am I escalating this as an emergency issue, or is it just a minor issue? So I feel like I'd love to get my security tech, so to look into more to give me an idea of the scope of the impact. Is it the entire campus? Customers are impacted? What exactly is it?
So unfortunately, right now, the security tech's busy figuring out some things in the networking closet, and they'll be able to get to it on their turn next.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
What I would like to do, well, I need to communicate. I need to communicate that we have a wide issue. So I'm probably going to communicate to my peers, like the VP of Ops, and also to our president that we have a major issue. So now we'll need to figure out if we need to have a communication or make people aware of the issue.
Okay. So go ahead and roll for seeing how well that is sent out and received
Come
internally.
on, Luke, over 10.
Oh boy, I failed on that.
It turns
Oh,
out not only do you have some bad send groups in your email, so it went to some employees that are no longer even there, but your president is really not happy with this information. He wants nothing to do with being told that the systems are still down, and that's not great for you. So
Uh-oh.
the person that has been tapped next to speak is our operations manager, our VP of Ops. You look after the whole company, day-to-day operations, and what you know right now is that your customers cannot call you. They can't solicit sales. They can't get a hold of you to get any problem solved, and they're starting to get upset. And it looks like IT is not fixing your problem yet. What would you like to do?
Well, I'm very mad about this because we are losing millions by the hours here. So we need to get that problem fixed. So I'd like to rely on the internal IT to get that thing fixed. We also have a little budget in there if we need like extra help or get the firemen on site. I can put some money on the table for that. So what do we do?
So you want to bring in some additional resources?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So what we're going to do then is go ahead and roll for me, and you need to get above a 10 to make sure that your funds are actually available.
Below 10.
Oh no,
I ain't approving it.
so
Not
close.
approving it.
It looks like times are tight, and these reduced sales are not helping. So unfortunately, you were not able to bring in additional resources to solve this problem, at least not right now.
So can we sit down with IT and try to figure out how we rearrange some of the resources that we can take from one place to actually get to work on this?
Yeah, that kind of sounds like something you should have done last quarter. But sure, we can do that in your next turn if you'd like. All right, Mr. President,
Yes.
we have some questions coming in from the media.
I'm heading out to golf.
They've heard about some issues coming up, and they want to understand what's going on here. So what they're telling us is they've been receiving some reports of major outage in your system affecting thousands of your customers are unable to get in touch with you. And they're writing a story right now, and they're going to publish it in the next hour. So they want to give you a chance to have some comment, and they want to know, 1, why are these lines down? 2, when will they be back up? And 3, is this because you were hacked?
Whoa. Is he on the call?
Yeah,
Okay,
right now,
I'm gonna
I'm-
put him on mute.
you're
I'm
talking
putting
to him
on
right
mute.
now.
Yeah, great. You know what? Great questions. I'm going to put you on mute for a few moments. What's going on?
I agree.
I'm heading out to golf right now. I was about to leave. As you can see, I'm at the parking lot here. I got this journalist giving me a call. What's happening? What do you want me to say, Luke?
Okay, so I guess you're passing it on to me.
I am right now, for now, as I'm about to head out to golf.
So let them know that we are looking into the issue and that we are trying to scope the issue exactly. We cannot confirm what exactly is the issue, but we are 100% on it. So of course, I'm looking at my security tech And hopefully we can do the fundamental triage, like do we have power to the system? Do we have lines up? Do we have cards that are down, and so on? And hopefully we can get some information. So I'm passing it on.
That's fine. Mr. Journalist,
Yes?
when's your cutoff today?
I'm publishing this in 30 minutes now.
Can I get 30 minutes from you?
Yeah, you have 30 minutes.
Okay, I'll get back to you in less than 30 minutes.
Okay?
Thank you.
Go ahead and roll for me.
Everyone, I need over 10.
President, I need you to give me a roll.
I need over 10. I need over 10. Yeah, 15.
Okay, turns out the journalist is not going to publish the story until after you give them the news.
Wonderful.
You were
The
lucky.
casino tonight.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so now we're back to our security tech. It is your turn again. Last you worked, you discovered where your phone system was, and so now you have it in front of you, but you know it's malfunctioning. We're still in the current state where people cannot call in, and your outbound calls are inconsistent. It's gotten to the point where your president's having to talk to the media, your VP of IT is upset. What do you want to do?
We've escalated this to the maximum possible severity level. Our initial investigations have yielded that there has, in fact, been some level of degradation with the service. My team is still working on it. We should be able to get something back to you as soon as we can. I just can't confirm anything right now.
So what are you working on right now? How are you trying to solve this problem?
So we've been looking at the network, looking at some of the systems that we've deployed. It seems like the system's not functioning as expected. We've reached out to the vendor, and we're hoping to get some support to help us identify what the issue is.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and roll to see how some of those activities are going. You need to get above 10 in this instance.
Wow.
Hit it out of the park.
Wow.
Someone's gonna scoop this guy up.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
security guy is doing a good job.
Yeah, that's right. So what you've discovered is that inside of your monitoring system, you can actually see what's going on, and it's looking like some system called PBX1 is currently down. You weren't really familiar with this monitoring system. You inherited it when you got some of the merged equipment. So it looks like you've identified the actual system inside of your phone system that's down, and that'll be useful information for you to continue your investigation. All right, VP of IT, you're up. What would you like to do?
Jack, I need to communicate up and I need to communicate down. So we need to get to the bottom of this. So do you need any assistance would be one of my questions. And then I would communicate up to our president saying we're still working on the issue. We are advancing, but not advancing with, I believe, as much information. We're still figuring out what exactly is the issue. So, so I believe I've communicated to the president. I believe I communicated to our tech. And I'd probably also communicate to our VP of Ops to see if there were any irregularities going on there. But I believe that because there's power, I'm assuming it is definitely an IT issue. Well, I'm assuming it's an IT issue.
So what do you want to do?
So what do I want to do? Okay, well, communicate to my tech to if they need help. And I also want to communicate to our CEO the status of where we're at. And one of the things we'll probably need to communicate is a notification of some type.
Okay, go ahead and roll for that.
Okay. This is rigged.
So it looks like, unfortunately, while your president, who's currently golfing, could help you out by allocating additional resources, he's not answering his phone for some reason.
Okay.
And it looks like, as things are, your tech absolutely says, yep, I need help. More labor could solve this. But you don't have the labor right now. All right, VP of Ops. Still the same situation. IT has located the system. It's a matter of time probably for them to figure it out. You've got a story in the news now that's somewhat favorable, saying, you know what, looks like we have an outage, we're aware of it, we're working on it, we'll respond as soon as we can. You're still not taking customer calls.
Yeah, for me, it's a question of time now because I mean the clock is ticking. We're losing millions by the hour. Now we're a little bit further ahead. We are doing some kind of assessment here of the impact among staff to get a more precise idea of how we deal with that on the ops side. But I need from the IT more clarifications about what is the real impact. Did we get breached? Are we losing information? Like, are we getting our data stolen? What's going on, and what's the extent of the issue? So I'm gonna put my finger to the security tech and say, help me there. And what's the assessment from the security side of things?
I'm sensing a lot of pressure on IT during this scenario.
Always blame IT.
Right
That's
now?
that's my
A lot of
approach.
pressure on security.
How many staff do you have that are currently not taking calls?
I have pretty much everybody. Like the PBX is down, right? We know that's the PBX. Yeah. So we have staff way worried and basically not being able to work. So if there is something we can
So we know the
do
problem
to help
right now
certainly.
is there's really only one security tech working on this because of resource constraints.
Yeah.
Is there
So
some
we
way
have a
you
little.
can
But
maybe help with that?
I mean, instead of bleeding more money over the next hours, I'd rather spend money now to put some money on the table for my IT team to solve the problem, get us
All right.
out of the hole.
So why don't you roll and see if you can convince our president here to loosen up some purse strings?
Low 10,
Let's
Mark,
do
low
that.
10.
Oh,
Yes,
there we
looks
go.
like it.
So you used the
Finally.
ROI case, right?
It worked.
To justify it. So now what's going to happen going forward is for the next few turns, our security tech's going to have 2 turns every turn.
Pressure.
Oh.
All right. So where did our president end up
I
here?
was at the car. I
Well-
just came back from the golf.
Well, so that's great. And just to give you a debrief as you're coming back in, the story that you asked for has been printed, not favorably, but, they didn't slam you on it. You know where your phone system is now. You've got security tech working on it. And your team is appreciative that you just approved overtime for our security tech. Would you like to do anything at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, VP of Ops, are we a manual process right now for any communications to our customers?
Well, yeah, we're sending snail mail to our customers right now, and reaching out on on our cell phones. So it's not ideal.
Yep.
So we are just doing crisis management and damage management here, but we need to solve that problem soon.
Got it. Okay. And we have security tech. So I really want to push this over to security tech again to start investigating because there's something somewhere. We got to find it, isolate it, and figure this out right away. We're losing too much money. VP of IT, I need you to step up here. Let's go. All right. So, Mark, what I would like to do is push all my resources towards VP of IT and security tech and VP of Ops to really put the pedal to the metal here.
The VP of IT has taken significant health damage due to just morale. He's not happy right now. He understands the pressure.
Send him a gift bag.
All right, so security
A bottle of
tech.
scotch would be better. Yeah.
Security tech looks like you're up, and you've got some help here. You've got additional pay and some contractors that can help you out. So you've got some extra abilities to do some turns. You know where the phone system is, but you don't really know how it's put together, and it's still not working. And the whole company is really upset right now. What would you like to do?
I'd take on the additional resources. We did reach out to the vendor. They're happy to help us too. I think I'd like to do a full analysis on the call patterns that are, preceding what happened to the attack itself, looking at all the
Okay.
call patterns on the network right now
It's a great idea.
to understand what's happening.
Yeah, go ahead and roll for that and see how it goes.
Come on, over 10.
Ooh.
Isn't he allowed for a second roll?
I think
He is. Would you like to? You've learned a little bit while you were there. Would you like to try again?
One more roll.
Yes,
Come
we
on,
do.
Myuran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the first time you were looking on the wrong network, it was in a VLAN that was not correct. However, on your second attempt, you tried something differently, and you've discovered the actual layout of the servers themselves that host the phone system. And so now you can see that they've showed up and the phone system is broken down into them. Now, each of these machines has a specific purpose that's laid out there for you. And you're going to have to probably investigate them to see which is the piece that's malfunctioning. So your turn is over now. And we're going to look to the VP of IT, who's not feeling so good.
Do I get another chance?
You don't.
I got a good crack at it.
You got
No?
two.
Okay.
You did a good job.
Take a break.
All right, so I'm looking at this, and I think what I'm receiving is the gist of what the issue is. I'm still not 100% confirmed yet that it is a cybersecurity issue. Were you able to confirm that?
I think every issue is a cybersecurity issue. Right now, at this point in time, our phone systems are down. There's some anomalies when we've monitored. Things are not looking good at this point in time. Just a couple of weeks ago, another organization got hit with something similar with their phone systems going down. So I'm treating this as, I've already called my lawyers and my insurance company. Something's up. So, VP of IT, this is why I pay you. I need you to figure this out today, right now.
Well, it's definitely an emergency. So one of the things we should be doing is deploying the emergency plan. So we've already posted on the website that people need to use alternative methods of communicating with us, and we will communicate it to them in a mechanism that they are doing so. So internally, for our VP Ops, we need to ensure that everybody knows, per the emergency plan, how we're going to communicate to our customers. So one thing. It sounds like our security tech has done a wonderful job by rolling in the 19. A 20 would have been better, but anyway, 19 is really good, and we are actually working in more details. So I would say that's the unfortunate part is I'm probably going to put more pressure on my security tech to really get down to the details of the issue.
So you used to be a security tech in your former role. You can attempt to help as well if you want to roll your sleeves up and see if you got any of that left.
Oh, most times my team always tells me don't get involved, but I love this opportunity to get involved. So let me roll.
Okay.
All right. Look,
16.
Yes, that's 16. Yeah.
That.
Marty, did you hear that? No.
I did.
Okay. So you've discovered servers, and what do you want to point this great role at? So you've got your VM manager, you got your PBX, and you got your call handler. These three systems you can investigate in depth now. You found the password file and you know how to log in, which is super dangerous for the whole company.
Yeah. So it doesn't sound like we're actually managing our passwords or their shared passwords here. Ooh, I'd love to give a talk on that. So
which system do you want to fully investigate?
Well, I'm in my experience. Oh boy. The call handler may be one place to look into. The PBX is the core, yeah, I'd probably look into the. So, you're gonna tell me whether that's good or bad.
That's right.
That's right. Meaning that's right. You're
So
gonna tell me. Or?
you did select correctly. The call handler, if you'd noticed in the previous, was an ancient version of Ubuntu. And so what you've discovered when you went to go into it is that you found an image in the root folder that looked like this.
Ooh. Now look at that.
The interesting thing that's happened here is so there's just outside of the game for a second. I want to say there's a few things you've touched on so far. Number one, we're short-staffed in our security division. Number two, we didn't really have a communications plan for a phone system outage prepackaged. We had to create that on the fly. And so the next thing that businesses would have to deal with when they're confronted with this is, what are we doing here, right? We have a decision to make with this ransomware. Mm-hmm. And typically it's, are we going to pay it, or are we going to restore from our backups?
So I love commenting on that. In my current position, well, I should say this is the current position, we have a philosophy of we don't pay ransom because it doesn't mean that you're going to get the key, it doesn't mean you're going to be able to retrieve anyway, and it's a lot of money. So now I want to go back to my security tech which is a wonderful guy, and to see if we do have backups for that environment. So that's the first question I'll ask.
So you're not fully aware, Security Tech, as to whether or not there's backups available because of the merged environment. So you would need to do some investigation to figure that out. But before you can, it is our VP of Ops turn. So VP of Ops, what we know is that the phone system is down. It's down for a while probably. We don't have an estimate from the VP of IT yet, but we know that it's been hacked. So there's probably other implications to that as far as data breach and privacy goes, but at this point I think you're concerned with operations and getting things back up. So what would you like to do? Knowing that, in the next 3 days you're probably not going to have the system.
Yeah, well, my first thing to do was along the same line. I mean, I want to know what's the impact. Like, do we have backups? Like, what's the recovery time? And how far back in time are you going to go with the data? So I would need that information. If certainly if you're telling me that we're going to be in this situation for a long time, we certainly need to, I mean, first looking at all our contracts and the vendors, SLAs, all that stuff, probably look at the lawyers and see covering and looking proactively at covering us. But we still need an operational solution. So I would definitely look at, maybe we call the local telco and see if they can provide us some cloud-based unified communication system or something we can use in the meantime.
Okay.
We still need to do the business, right?
Yep. So go ahead and give me a roll and see how much of an impact those investigations are going to have.
So 22 for sure.
So you came across something interesting, and that's that your telco vendor currently has an SLA to restore an outage like this within 1 business day. Now, it's already been 2 business days at this point, but you might need to hold them to task on that on your next opportunity. All right, Mr. President. So the bad news is that you published an article saying that you weren't hacked, and it turns out you actually were hacked. But good news is nobody can call you. What would you like to do?
But there's no phone.
Yeah, no. Am I able to transfer my decision over in terms of the play over to my VP of IT?
Yes, you can do that. Absolutely.
Roll for that?
Yes, you do. You need to get above 10.
Over 10?
You do.
What about? Okay, well there you go. 10 and above.
All right. I like how you changed the phrasing after the fact. But you are right. 10 and above is correct. All right, VP of IT. The decision of what to do next has been delegated to you.
Yeah.
You know you've been compromised. You don't know if you have backups or not, and the phones are still down.
So I would hope that we've done a disaster recovery plan before, and we've identified a backup environment. So one of the things I'm curious about is that with our relationship with our either our ISP or service provider, do we have a secondary environment where the PRIs can be moved, so we can have a temporary environment running in parallel to all of this? Because I am aware that the system is old, we have no documentation, no backup. It's like, boy, we're SOL. In fact, I don't think my health is getting any better here. I really need that bottle of brandy, by the way. So I feel like speaking to our VP of Ops. I can go to our tech, but it sounds like he's really handcuffed. So I would actually go to our VP of Ops to see if we have a relationship where we can have a secondary environment implemented.
Right. Go ahead and roll for that then.
Okay.
All right. So it looks like you're going to have some success with that, and we'll get to that when we get to our VP of Ops. Now, Security Tech, it's your turn. Situation is currently that you have discovered the piece of your phone system that was responsible for everything being down, and the reason it was down is because the whole drive is encrypted, and all of the config files and everything you need, you're not finding them. So you also don't know if you have backups or not because of the merger. What would you like to do first?
Now that we've confirmed that there's some ransomware, I would move into containment mode, or trying to identify at least where within the environment we've got this malicious piece of payload sitting. So I'd probably turn down to my EDR systems and EDR logs to try and identify and try and contain those systems.
Okay,
While we try and find out if that backups will be ready.
let's roll and see how well your EDR is going to help you. 10 or above. All right. So, fortunately for you, even though no one decided to disconnect the call handler from the network still, your EDR is sophisticated enough that it has actually been doing TCP disruptions ever since you figured this out. Ever since it was infected, in fact. So,
Firing.
otherwise your backups would have been literally destroyed. Wherever they are and whatever they are. Now, you still have a second turn because we're still paying you to work 24/7, and we're probably buying you pizza.
And disconnect the cable.
So what would you like to do next? Is your
I
second turn
would-
security tech?
I would proceed to disconnect the cable, contain it, get the vendor on to try and remediate or help remediate.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for that. You really did know where that cabinet was. All right. You ripped the cable completely out, and the call handler was no longer a threat. But your system is still down. All right, so now we're over to the VP of Ops again. You've recently had a conversation with the VP IT about standing up a secondary phone network, a separate phone system. What kind of options would you like to explore to get this going so your customers can call you? Because it looks like it's going to be a while before IT can have the other system set up.
Well, I would, certainly rely on the VP of IT to provide some of the options. I mean, but I need my staff to get back on track with their business as soon as they can. I have a little budget. We also have the contract with the providers. Maybe some of the guarantees in the current vendors allows us to have some kind of solutions for to deal with that. If it's
Sure.
not the case, then I guess we'll have to figure out.
So I'm going to ask our VP of IT and our VP of Ops, Marc and Luc, to have a discussion right now about what would you do in a real business right now. Your phone system's down. Your operations manager wants the call center to work. You want the phone system back up. You're going to have to look at some alternative options. What kind of options would you pick? What would the discussion look like?
Yeah, I would actually go to our VP of Ops and assuming he's got the relationship with the service provider to see if there's an environment that they can recreate. Now, what's going through my mind is that the call handler, if it's old and if it's end of life, it's going to be hard to find a replacement. So I don't know if we can rebuild it. So that's a question that I would ask our tech to do. So so now I pass it on to VP of Ops. At least this is what's going through my mind. What's going through your mind, and how can we collaborate on the path anyway?
What's going to my mind is that the clock is ticking. So I'm wondering if we have a a lot of things. I'm trying to learn from that situation. So did we have some kind of disaster recovery plan or something that would have in place just in case we got hacked or we got through some ransomware, and maybe we can follow that plan. If it's if we have to improvise, we can improvise. And certainly, my urgent matter is to get people back to work and serve our clients. I can provide a budget. I can, if it's possible to reinforce if it makes sense to reinforce the security team to, if they lack resources. We have one guy that's been working 24/7 for a while. If we need more resources, I can approve that as well.
Okay, so I guess we need to make a call here, and on which path. So, so if we assume the worst case, we don't have a disaster recovery plan. we don't really have a plan of what happens if the phone system goes down. Shame on us. I don't want to tell that to the CEO, but he would fire me if I wouldn't have a plan. But he's not listening. He's golfing. So, therefore, we need to recreate the phone environment. Now, can I confirm that we have isolated the breach itself, the ransomware, so nothing else is affected? So that's, once we've isolated the environment, then we can start working on the recovery. And I would look at our tech if the call handler can be revitalized. If we have to, if there's a way to clean it up, maybe we have a spare drive. But we have to look at all alternatives there. And because our VP of Ops has not suggested to go to the service provider, I'm assuming that the service provider can probably provide very little assistance. So security tech, it looks like we're on our own on this one.
All
So
right.
who's rolling the dice right now? Is that you, the
It'd
security
be
guy?
you. It's your turn. So now you've
It's
had
my
your
turn?
conversation. You had your conversation with your VP of IT. You've got some information.
So
from him.
I got the picture, VP of IT. So we kind of, we did everything we could with, with the resources we have. So let's call the service provider. If that's okay. And I'm
Okay.
going.
Go ahead and roll for that. Okay.
Good call.
Hello. This is your phone service provider. What would you like?
Okay, so look, we have our phone downs. We know so far we've been hacked. We have an SLA with you. We need to get back on track as soon as possible, and we have let's exercise the agreement that we have to get started. We need to get back with our phone online and our system cleaned up as soon as possible.
That's right. We've got a ticket in from you yesterday, and we're sending our techs out. We should be able to restore your system from your backups within a day or two.
Does that cover? And we also need to get a full security assessment, and we need to make sure our systems are cleaned up from any threats or any malware that would be
No,
in
we're
there.
we're not a security company. You'll need to either use your in-house people for that, or find an external consultant to do an assessment of. Are you saying that you were breached?
Yes.
Okay, we didn't know that. That wasn't in the ticket. We can still work on helping you out. Has your internal team started looking at the backups yet?
Yes, we did that. We disconnected the call handler, and we have our backup safe.
Okay, so we'll have someone there within a day to resolve this for you. We can't take a look at your environment security. That's not a skill set that we have. We don't even have any partners that we'd recommend you towards, so you're going to have to find somebody else for that.
I appreciate this. I appreciate this last part, but within a day, but that seems a little too long. Like, is there anything we can do to work it out? It's urgent here that we get our system.
I'll see if I can
online.
escalate it for you, but that is what your SLA is.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll live with that then.
Okay.
I tried.
VP of Ops, your turn is over, but an email was sent attached to the ticket based on that conversation, and the backups were included in it. So it turns out there was a separate backup server that the phone system provider actually had that they were archiving things to.
Wonderful.
So security tech, it is your turn now. So we're gonna have to call the game at this point. We didn't quite make it through it, but what we have here is, the way things would progress. Now, fortunately, because we had our EDR solution with that role play so well, we do actually have backups, and we have an RPO, and we have an RTO for that, and we would be able to begin restoring it. Depending on how the scenario plays out, different things happen. These scenarios can be created to mirror real events at real companies. This is a generic one meant to get some exposure to the game and see what it's like. So There's a few things we did good in that, and there was a few things we did not so good, and you can see how once you're actually in the real scenario, you make mistakes, and better to make them here than in the real world.
Can I fire everyone first?
Yeah, you can fire everybody. I mean, I don't know, you're not gonna get your phone back up, but
I got a chat request to fire, everyone, I got a chat request to fire me. I figure I fire everyone before I get fired.
yeah, I think your board's gonna deal with you after you fire everybody.
I was impressed on how immersed I was. I was really focused and really thinking things through. And I think when you do the exercise, you probably want to have somebody to document, because you're going to find shortfalls that you want to, that's the purpose. You want to find all of those things.
Yep.
This has been quite captivating. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody, and everyone did well. And the well is realism. So, you know, if you plan out a thing and say, I am so worried what would happen if we did X, better to play it out here than wait for the real thing to happen.
And I imagine my health is getting better?
It will soon,
Okay.
yeah. You're
All
still
right.
pretty stressed.
And look, I got that bottle of brandy for you.
Thank you, Mark. I'm actually taking off shortly, so I'll go see you.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
We should do this again
Thank
sometime.
you.
Thank you. It was good to play. Thanks.